The last roundup, last roundup, last roundup.
I'm sorry, miss. I can't have you holding one of my people hostage.
Even if you pull the trigger, I can still take him out. Can't you?
Come on, Lily, she needs it.
Miss, you're not getting the point. I can't have you holding one of my people hostage.
You're crazy!
I'm not crazy, I just don't give a fuck.
Welcome to the last Roundup Horror Show. I am Frank, and with me, as always, we have Jason Miller.
Yeah.
And John Walmsley. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, we got some movies this time, gentlemen. We didn't even step into the 90s. We stuck to, like, late 70s through the 80s. I'll be honest, I had a lot of fun watching these, even though I didn't like them all. It was fun watching, some of this shit.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to start out with Alice, Sweet Alice from 1976. Summary for this film: in 1961 suburban New Jersey, a withdrawn adolescent girl is suspected of her younger sister's brutal murder during her first communion and a series of subsequent stabbings. Directed by Alfred Soule, written by Rosemary Ritvo and Alfred Soule. What do you got, Jason?
Tagline: a story of a natural love and a natural death. Distributed by Allied Artists and out on Blu-ray it has a couple releases. I have the Arrow video released in 2019.
Yeah, couple cast highlights here. Linda Miller as Catherine Spages. She was I added this because of this connection. She was the daughter of Jackie Gleason and the ex-wife of The Exorcist's Jason Miller. So, that's
how about
that's a fun thing. And also, we have Brooke Shields, and I believe this is her first film role. Is that true?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's
she
correct.
plays the young Karen Spages.
Hold on. Let's stop right here for a second, though.
Yeah.
If this was her first film, well, I guess maybe I'm looking at it from the Blu-ray release. Maybe they did it with the theatrical release or the initial release, but it seems like they're pushing her hard. Like, I get it now, like putting her name on the cover, but did they do that when this came out? Because, I mean, she was a nobody, right?
Nah, they didn't know who Brooke Shields was. She was just a little girl.
It's just a little girl. Okay,
it has to be after the fact. Once again, this is one of these movies that focuses, there's a lot of scenes where there's kids fighting. And as a person who has 3 kids fighting, I'm dealing with it right fucking now. They're making me go nuts. I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't want to see it. It's not entertainment to me. It's terrible. And the kids are all annoying too, so that doesn't help. The most interesting character in this movie to me is the landlord, Mr. Alfonso. And then I looked into him more just because I wanted to know. He seemed familiar, and he's in. I can't remember the film. I didn't write it down. Blood-sucking freaks or something like that. That's the only other role. But the thing that was interesting I read about him was that he apparently shot himself. Like, he killed himself after a story about him getting stuck in a turnstile was printed in newspapers. And I was like, fuck. That's dark. And it was a show on the IMDb trivia. But yeah, crazy. He is, he's my favorite character in the movie. He apparently, when he wasn't acting, was a bouncer at a gay bar. Another interesting side fact for Mr. Alfonso. You know what I didn't write down? His real name. So look it up yourself, kids. They seem to have written the movie in a really confusing way on purpose. I saw it right out of the way because I've been burned by shit like this before. I was like, I know what they're doing. They're going to try to fucking confuse me and then twist it for no reason at the end. I guess if you liked all these people, you might have some sort of investment in the storyline, but I don't care about any of their fates, and I don't care if they find out who killed Brooke Shields or stab the aunt. And I especially don't care if that couple reunites. Don't care. I ultimately thought all of the stabbings were basically the same because they used the same knife. It was a retractable blade. It looked like a retractable blade. But it's shot well. I will say that. The whole story could have been told in a much more abbreviated manner. And it has the same feel as the 1972 Tales from the Crypt movie to me. And I think if they would have condensed this shit down to like 20 minutes and stuck it in that movie, it would work out great. It needs to be in an anthology and it needs to be shorter. Just because there's not enough meat on these bones. I don't think they're trying to pull shit. They're just pulling shit out of nothing. Why is the killer the killer? Why is that? Does that make sense to anybody? Can someone explain?
Well, she wanted the cross or whatever it was.
Wait. Time out. Okay, so this brings me to Mrs. Trudani. We're talking about.
Why is she what's her motivation to kill all these people and do this?
All right, I was confused on this too because I was at one point, Jason. I watched this twice. I was like, are there two killers happening here? Is Karen? No, not Karen. Alice. Is Alice actually doing stuff? Like it's so much red herring stuff going on, and I know you bought it. I don't know if it was a blind buy or you've seen it before and you dug it.
Yeah, I see it.
All right, so enlighten us, because me and Aaron were both confused.
I just did about as much as I like. I don't. I mean, she wanted that cross or whatever that the preacher gave to Alice's sister. So that's why she was knocked off.
The rosary beads and shit.
Yeah, like I don't know if there was something else behind why she wanted it.
It looked like they were trying to make it seem like she was in love with that guy, that priest, or whatever.
I'm sure there's something more than just I like that, I want it, I'm gonna kill you.
But then the thing that made me say fuck this movie is at the end whenever Alice has the spoiler alert, she has the knife and she pulls it out. What are you doing, you fucking motherfuckers? That you know. Was she doing shit the whole time? What are you doing? You're just being confusing to me. They're not wrapping anything up. They're not leaving it loose and open. Anybody can write this. Just nothing's tied together, not tied up.
Well, so did you know who the killer was?
I never expected it, and then whenever
they had me fooled. I mean, I know you're saying they throw out a bunch of stuff.
I'm just saying they could have made it fucking anybody. They could have made it the way they did it. There was no connection. They could have made it fucking Pat Sajak, and it would have made just as much sense.
You're looking at it as a negative. I'm looking for it or at it as more of a positive. There's not. I don't know. I feel like half the movies I watch, I guessed the killer right from the get-go. This one completely fooled me.
Now, if they would have taken it and sewn it up, been like, this is why she was like this, and this is why she did it, this was her motivation, because most movies that do a twist like this, you can after the fact go, oh yeah, that all makes sense. This doesn't make sense to me. She raised this dude and then she got jealous or whatever. I don't know. I give it a 4. That's it.
Yeah.
It's shot well. It's shot really well.
Well, so what do we have here? Is this I mean, this plays out a lot like a Giallo, and Frank, I'm sure you're not a fan of that subgenre to begin with.
Some of it,
but
this was released in a box set of slashers. So that's what they're considering it.
Yeah, I would call it a gothic slasher, or I would even call it a horror drama. Like there's, it's definitely not your typical slasher, and that kind of makes sense because this came out before the glory days of the '80s when slashers were booming. This didn't have a kind of a template to follow. Structure didn't really have too many tropes, but anyway, I like this movie. I would say, without going through a list of movies, I would say it's probably in my top 10 of '70s horror. I really
Oh,
like this
okay.
movie. Originally titled Communion, the production company didn't like that, so they switched it to Alice, Sweet Alice. Definitely not. It's not perfect. It's slow. I think it has pacing issues. It doesn't have a lot of kills. The runtime's a little long, an hour 47. They for sure could have got this story done in 90 minutes or less. But that's what I like it. I think everything's well done. I think the score is good. The acting is solid cast. I like the atmosphere. I really, really love old churches and old hospitals. And it has just very strong, it has that 70s feel to it. You see the old cars and the buildings and the way people dress. Like, it's refreshing to me because most of the slashers I watch are from the 80s. Again, this had to be fooled on the killer, which is more of a negative in your eyes. But this movie is also sexually creepy.
Yeah.
Like Alice sucking on her fingers. That big
Well, she was
fat dude.
She was 19 when they shot that.
Well, yeah, but she's playing like 13 or 14-year-old. Like,
And
she's
that- and
sucking on her fingers, and
the one scene that the guy with the telegraph or whatever, the lie detector test, he's like, "Did you see how she looked at me when I was strapping her in?
Yeah,
Like, she wanted me to touch her boobies." He says
gross.
boobies, I think.
there's definitely some sexual creepy stuff going on here.
Well,
And
yeah,
the fat dude, what is that? Piss on his pants, or
I don't know, man.
Probably.
demon stains, or what's going on here?
He's gross, though.
They made a great job making him disgusting.
Yeah.
And fun fact, and I think you mentioned her, but I think her name's Linda Miller, the actress.
Yeah.
She plays Catherine, the mom.
Mm-hmm.
In front of cast and crew, and in the middle of the movie, walks in and front of everyone, slits her wrist. She goes to the hospital.
Like, she tried to kill herself?
Yeah, she walked. They said she walked in, mumbled something, and slit her wrist. Went to the hospital, got stitched up or whatever. Came back and finished the movie. I was like,
Wow.
it's the 70s.
There's your movie.
You slice your wrist right
Crazy.
now, like you go straight to the loony bin. Like, you don't go back and finish a movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like this movie. I give it an 8. What do you think, John?
I thought it was really slow. This is one of those ones I remember in the video store. I remember that VHS box. It was a creepy cover. I never saw it when I was a kid. This was my first time seeing it. And hour 47, way too long. I mean, hour 20, maybe it stretches to the 90s, but almost 2 hours is like, this isn't The Hobbit. Come on. I read that it was partially inspired by, and I'm going to butcher his name, Nicholas Roeg, R-O-E-G. Don't Look Now with Donald Sutherland. They said the usage of the raincoats was really inspired them to use it. And if you guys haven't seen that, I suggest checking that out. That thing's sick. My favorite character was the landlord. He was like the most genuine. Like, I don't think he was acting that much.
No.
Like I think maybe they slapped some dirty clothes on him. But no, he was
maybe.
He was just the most. He delivered the most on the scenes he was in. Alice, oh God, shut up, dude. Like, just shut your mouth. And you know, a character. Actually, everyone just be silent for an hour and 47 minutes. Just do that. Everyone shut up. You know. So here was my biggest gripe: was the killing. I didn't understand the cross. It seems such a hollow reason. It's such a, for her, she's super deeply religious. So something for her, I feel like, was the priest her son?
Yeah.
Like
something like that. She raised him or something.
Or she gave him up for adoption because of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or how about this? Was the priest like banging Alice's mom? Is that why he was so touchy-feely to give Karen the cross? Out of anyone, it's Karen?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
what's up with that?
it was so weird the way the mother was like, "You're gonna look so pretty for the father," or whatever. She kept calling him. What was his name? Ted or something like that.
Tom?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. By the way, there is one thing that I loved about this movie: the death of the father character. Whenever the reveal of the killer, he like gets what happens exactly? They're up in that old building and he falls onto some bottles. What'd she do? Slit his throat or something? I can't remember. That was the highlight of the movie for me. I watched this one.
I mean, I thought that the kill of Brooke Shields, I
That
thought
was
that was
brutal.
great. I mean, shove her in a box and light her on fire in a church.
Yeah.
Like, that's, I was like, oh my God. But I tell you
Yeah.
what, if they would have had more kills, if they would have gave us more meat on this, I think it would have took care of your guys' problem of necessarily knowing exactly
Yeah.
why
Well,
she was killing and just
if they would have made a variety of the kills, everything was that same knife. They even said in the IMDb thing, they only had one knife and they used it for, that was it. If that would have broke, they would have had to fucking figure some shit out. But yeah, I don't regret watching it, even though it's a 4. I'd never seen it before. I have a reference on it now. It was shot well. I think people should watch it. I mean, as far as class, like I would recommend it just like Rosemary's Baby. I don't like that movie either, but I think that people should watch it.
Wait, did John? Did you give it a rating?
I gave it a 4.
A 4. You're both 4s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
A couple of 4s.
we
All
kind of we actually had like the same gripes. with
Yeah.
it. I was like, so I can't remember if you messaged me or I messaged you. I was like, dude, you said you were watching Alice, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh boy,
Yeah.
get ready because
well,
I have questions.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
sent
I
me.
was like, Jason, I have questions.
You sent me.
So I'm the wrong person for that.
You sent me.
The only point of reference we have.
Yeah, you had sent me a message saying. You said. Have you watched Alice yet? I have questions, and I was like, no, I haven't watched it yet. And then as soon as I watched it, I was like, yeah, that shit don't make no sense or something. But yeah, let's move into 1981 with my pick, The Pit. Summary for this film: a solitary and strange preteen boy wreaks revenge on his harassers when he makes a disturbing discovery in the depth of a forest. Directed by Lou Lehman and written by Ian A. Stewart. You got anything on this, Jason?
Tagline: Jamie wouldn't kill anyone unless Teddy told him to. Distributed by New World Pictures. Out on Blu-ray. Kino Lorber 2016.
Now you own this one too, Jason. Did you blind buy this?
I do.
Did you?
This was a blind buy.
Yeah. The first thing I didn't understand about this movie is why everybody in this town hates this fucking kid so much. Does it make any sense to you? He's just a kid.
It's Tom Scarberry. It's a Tom Scarberry character.
But even old ladies in the street are like, fuck this kid, this boy should kill himself. Like, it was just crazy.
Well, he did expose himself to that old lady or something.
Yeah,
or she saw him up in a tree naked.
Yeah, he is a weird pervert. I mean, he does some fucking shit in this movie. I thought it was weird that the babysitter lady, is she a babysitter or what is she? Right? She's a babysitter, right?
Babysitter, housekeeper, they call it.
Yeah. She was like, sure, I'll wash your back in the bathtub. 12-year-old boy. My oldest son is 10. He fucking washes his own ass. And it would be weird if my wife was in there. Down. This movie seems like they couldn't decide if they wanted to make a movie about a perverted little kid or a supernatural bear or trolls. So they just did all 3 of them. And I don't know if the bear is actually supernatural or if it's just in his head, but they do make it turn at one point and like look at the camera. I don't know.
I was looking out for that, and I must have missed it because I didn't see it in anything smart. I think it only happens once, right?
Yeah, it's when the mom's in his room, or not the mom, the babysitter, and she finds that nudie magazine, and then she puts it back, and then when she's walking out of the room, the bear turns its head. But that I don't know. I think that this was a mishmash of ideas. I don't even know how it came together. Um, I think it is really funny the way he lures people into this pit that he finds. Whenever he's pushing the old lady, it's hilarious. I liked that was like good camp to me. But the one that made me laugh the most was the guy that gets lured there with the promise of gems and jewels or whatever. It's the Halloween one. There's a bunch of gems and jewels. I was like, what the fuck is this? It's,
You can have it for your club.
it's like a
What? The fucking strip club? What you
Yeah.
got going on?
I would really like that. I would really like to see what the original monsters, the original trolls or trollogs or whatever he calls them, looked like, because evidently the ones they originally made were so shitty that they had to remake them.
I didn't hear that. I heard that originally they got little kids to play them.
Oh,
And
really?
The mask and the costumes or whatever was like so hot, like they started throwing up and like passing out and shit. So they sent home the kids. And,
Wow, maybe
I don't know if they got some little people or what. But.
Maybe that was them softening. That we had to get new costumes or whatever, but I don't know. I actually started to enjoy this movie once Jamie stopped being a weird pervert and started to feed the pit bodies. It's oddly structured. I gave this a 4 out of 10 also. But man, this kid's really going to some extents to get some like jerk off material, you know, like he like, what was the whole thing he did with the neighbor lady? He like sets up a tape recorder, records his voice.
Oh God, yeah.
Acts like he kidnaps the little girl. This kid he was gonna kill people anyways, even if he hadn't found the pit. But what do you guys think?
So we got it's definitely a low budget B movie. I actually think it feels like a made for TV movie with nudity.
Yeah.
Like, when I was watching it, I was like, I remember seeing rated R, but as I'm watching it, I was like, man, this really feels like a made for TV movie. To me, this is kind of a so bad it's good movie. It's silly and ridiculous. The writer, Ian Stewart, he was upset about the way it came out. Like, he was saying like, basically it would be better if they would have stuck to the story that I wrote. I was like, I doubt it. Like he said, like, basically like everything past where she smacks him in the face was like in his head. It didn't really happen.
Oh, okay.
And at the end, it was supposed to show you that he's just a psychotic kid, and it's supposed to bring everything. I don't think it would help this movie that much. Like, if you're such a good writer, this was so good. Like, where are your other movies at? Like, he's done nothing. Like, I think he has one other writing credit. I just thought it was funny watching the special features, listening to him make it seem like basically putting all the blame on the director. Like, your script wasn't that good. I think it like you said, it's overwritten. You have trolls, you have a psychotic kid, maybe a supernatural bear, a possession.
Doesn't it seem like he was pitching this movie, and he's like, "Okay, guys, listen, we got a kid, right? He's real creepy. He's real creepy. He's like,
he is
creepy.
creepy.
Everybody in the neighborhood hates him. He's got this bear. He's got a bear he talks to, and the bear tells him to do different things and to kind of be perverted, and like everybody in the boardroom's watching this pitch, and he sees it going south, and he's like, he finds these trolls, right? So then they're like trolls, and he's like, and he starts feeding people to the troll.
Just pick. I wish they would just kind of picked one and done it well.
Yeah.
But anyway,
that's 3 different movies right there.
Yeah, I like the boy. The character himself. He was creepy. He's weird, perverted. He's crazy. He kills women in wheelchairs. He kills other kids. Like, he doesn't care. Like, his main job is just to feed that pit. I think the acting fits the movie. It's definitely a little slow, drags in some areas, but it's just a weird, strange, awkward movie. And I don't know if you guys ever seen Bad Ronald, but I think that this would make a good double feature with that. That is a made-for-TV movie, and it's kind of the same thing. Like this kid, he hides in the walls and pretends he's in another world or another land or something like that. It would go good with this, but I give it a 5.
Right, John.
Yeah. I wrote down that it was the longest hour 36 I've ever experienced. I just couldn't get into it. I hated that kid. I hated his haircut. I hated his fucking clothes. Like I loathed him. Not because he was evil.
Everyone did the whole time.
Yeah. Like I feel like I know where them times. You know how you get the sense that someone's just fucking weird. That kid's fucking weird, and everyone was right to hate him.
Well, the old lady
I feel
said
bad for every one of them.
The one old lady, I believe she said his parents should just not ever come back.
Yeah. It was nuts. Like the hatred for this kid was hilarious. But I mean, and I also, Jason, you brought up the music. I hated the music, how it was so silly, and after school especially. It's like, come on, man. Just
it fits
something
though.
scary.
I mean, it fits that made for TV.
Oh, there goes that precocious scamp, dumping bodies in the pit again. You know, oh, that kid of mine. You know,
that did really seem like some Gilligan's Island shit.
Yeah.
Whenever he like throws the football and the guy doesn't see the fucking big giant hole in the ground.
No one sees it.
Yeah,
no one sees it.
Is it a predator hole? What the hell is it? Like, geez.
Yeah.
I also noted, and this is just like, because there was just nothing to get from this movie. It was the film debut of Sonia Smits, who played Bianca Oblivion in Videodrome, if you guys have ever seen that.
Oh, yeah.
She's like a main sub-character in that, you know? So that was like my one notable takeaway. The bear. What the hell with the bear? Like, it was his own voice. I think it was just like a coping mechanism. Right. Like, he was talking to himself. Then it moved its head. And it reminded me of that scene on the beach in Humanoids from the Deep with the marionette puppet. It reacts after that couple gets clawed. It's like, it's so weird.
Roger Corman?
Yeah. That's a really good one. I ended up giving this a 2 because I kind of like the poster. Yeah,
I can understand it. Okay, let's talk about a really, really good movie, Night of the Comet, 1984. I'm just going to preface it by saying that. Summary for this film: a comet wipes off most of life on Earth, leaving 2 valley girls fighting against cannibal zombies and a sinister group of scientists. Written and directed by Tom Eberhardt, who did Honey, I Blew Up the Kid and Captain Ron. I love those movies. I don't know how you guys feel about them.
I like Honey. I remember both of those. I'm into it.
Yeah. What do you got, Jason?
Well, I was looking. I guess I forgot to write down a tagline, but on the artwork, it was the last thing on Earth they ever expected. Distributed by Atlantic Releasing Corporation, and out, a couple of different releases. Screen Factory had one. I think it's out of print now. I have the Arrow.
Nice.
Okay.
Released in, I don't know when it was released. I dropped the ball on this one.
No big deal. They can look it up if they really want to know.
Look it up.
Use your brains, people. I think that this movie has one of the best uses of color. I mean, look at this. Look at this background. It's beautiful. I love how they used red brick dust for like the evaporated people. It gave it a really specific look. And the soundtrack, half of it I loved, half of it I hated. There was some really bunk shit on this, but there was some really good stuff too. There's one driving piece of music that she's on the motorcycle. It's just this awesome synthwave shit. I love that. I couldn't find who the artist was on that song or most of these. The shit I liked, I couldn't. It was just score stuff that I couldn't figure it out. I like the look of the radio station. I thought it was cool as fuck. I want the couch that they have in there in my house. It's like a weird zigzag thing. I don't know. The monster cops were really cool. Sort of reflective of how real cops are. But they were actual cops, I believe, that were like keeping the roads clear for them to film and stuff. So save some money there. Do you guys think this is a Christmas movie? Because it does happen at Christmas time.
No, I don't consider it. It's not something I watch during Christmas.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, it's weird because there is some Christmas things in it. Like there's a little Christmas music here and there. But no, you're right. Whoever the villain in the mall is, I think his name's Willie. He's like a stock boy. He's my favorite character in the movie. He has the line, "I'm not crazy. I just don't give a fuck." He's just insane. He looks like a new wave kind of punk guy. I don't know. Jeffrey Lewis is a gem in this movie as Dr. Carter. He's Juliette Lewis's father, if you didn't know. And he passed away, so give him a little RIP. He was you might remember him if you can't think of what he looks like. He was in Devil's Rejects. He played Roy Sullivan. He's one of the victims in that film. But he has this scene where he's interviewing the one girl, and he's just over and over again, "Have you ever had hepatitis? Have you ever had hepatitis? Do you have diabetes?" But like I kept thinking, if you have hepatitis, don't you just always fucking have hepatitis? I mean, it's not, did you had it? You had it. You still have it. You always have it. I mean, maybe that, I don't know. Maybe I don't know shit, but this is a really fun movie. I never watched this before this viewing. I thought I had, but I had not. I will surely revisit it. I love post-apocalyptic stuff like this, and the style is just what I like. It's not perfect, but I highly recommend it. An 8 out of 10.
Yeah, when you first mentioned this movie, this is your pick, right, Frank?
No, this is yours.
This is my pick.
Yeah,
that's what I know.
We couldn't log it down. I remember that.
Okay, well then maybe when I was thinking of it. In my head, I had Night of the Creeps. Night of the Creeps was in my head.
Yeah, and I've seen that one.
Yeah. But anyway, so 80s post-apocalypse, definitely a strong sci-fi feel to it. I like the characters, the teenage girls. I thought it was a good cast. Small cast, but good. I love the way it looks. The settings are great. The mall, the radio station. What else is there? The movie theater.
Oh, I love the movie theater.
One question before you move on. I forgot to even mention this. Where the fuck did they get the guns? Where did they get the machine guns?
Their dad was in the army, I believe.
But the one line is, "Daddy would have got us, whatever."
Uzis. Yeah.
So I was confused. They just it seemed like they fucking had them. Maybe I missed something. But anyways, Jason.
Oh, no. So you mentioned the city shots and holding back traffic, right? They actually didn't do that. They shot the outdoor scenes or the city scenes on Christmas morning when there was like no traffic. There's a couple scenes where you can like see a person walking off in the distance that ain't supposed to be there, but is what it is. No, they didn't really keep anyone from it.
Well, they must have used those cops in some way or another. I don't know. My trivia's off.
No. Very, very 80s. It's fun, entertaining. The story, the concept, everything's good. I like the music. There's some humor in it. My only knocks is that it drags a little, and it could have used a lot more zombies or whatever, crazy gang members, whatever those people are. Everything in this movie is good. I just think we need more of it. But I like it. I gave it a 7. John?
Yeah, I remember seeing this once when I was really young. I remember it creeped me out, but it was just because I was real young. And then I didn't see it again until, I don't know, a couple of years ago, and then now. So it's not one of my favorite films, but I do love the cast. Catherine Mary Stewart, like, one of my dream girls when I was growing up from The Last Starfighter. Kelly Maroney, she was awesome in this movie. Like, she was fun. She felt like she was in her element. And I read on IMDb that part at the beginning where she's sparring with her stepmom, like she had her stepmom really hit her.
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah.
really punch her to like feel it for the blood and all that kind of stuff, you know? Mary Woronov was in this from Rock and Roll High School and House of the Devil, which I love. I love that movie. And Eating Raoul, a fun cannibal comedy.
I think I've seen that. Yeah.
I only saw that like a long, long time ago. And then, like you said, Jeffrey Lewis, solid B movie cast. Love the cityscapes, the color, everything about the color was awesome. It felt more like a teen comedy with horror in it because there wasn't that much. You know what I mean? I wouldn't call this is definitely a sci-fi over a horror movie in my eyes, anyways. If there would have been more zombies, then we'll talk. But there wasn't much anything. Everyone only I guess only so many people were like partially protected or something, like they said. I actually, to be honest, I wouldn't mind seeing a sequel or a remake. I wouldn't mind seeing it remade. This isn't one of those ones I hold dear, but if they remade it today, they could really do. I think they could really do a good job.
Yeah, I mean, from what I don't have it written down anywhere, but from what I gather, it was pretty low budget. So I mean, just to see it have some money behind it today, give it a bigger production, I'd be for it.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, I enjoyed it. I'll give it a 6. I dug it. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I just liked it. It's all right.
Yeah, it's a good one. I mean, if it's
check it out.
It's worth a look. Yeah, everybody who's listening to this or watching this has seen a worse movie for sure.
Yeah.
God, I can list scores of them.
They've been. We've talked about 2 of them on this podcast.
Yeah,
tonight.
For sure. But last but not least, we're going to 1989 for The Church. Summary for this film: an old Gothic cathedral built over a mass grave develops strange powers which trap a number of people inside, with ghosts from a 12th century massacre seeking to resurrect an ancient demon from the bowels of the earth. Fucking mouthful. Directed by Michel Soavi, I guess. He did Cemetery Man, among others, and he also performed as an actor in City of the Living Dead, New York Ripper, Tenebrae, Phenomena, Demons, Opera, and he even plays a policeman in this film. Yeah, if you'll remember him from Demons, he wore the silvery face at the beginning. He was handing out tickets. What do you have, Jason?
Tagline: You haven't got a prayer. Distributed by Sachi Gori on Blu-ray through Scorpion, releasing in 2018.
Yeah, I forgot to mention the writers: Dario Argento, Franco Ferrini, Michel Soavi, and a handful of other writers that did one thing or another.
I think it was probably one guy.
I
think that's Soavi, or however you say his last name.
Yeah, a lot of the credits were like different translations and stuff. So who knows? Whatever. Fun fact: this was originally conceived as another entry in the Demons franchise, but Doavi wanted it to be more sophisticated. He called Demons Pizza Schlock, which kind of fits it. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Not a bad thing.
The soundtrack to this movie is great. It was done by the bassist of Goblin, Fabio Pignatelli. Fabio Pignatelli. Every time I watch a movie like this, I mean, this has a similar feel to me to Prince of Darkness in some ways, and it's because of just the church. I think, but when you're in these old churches, all I can think is the candle guy, man. Who is fucking lighting all these goddamn candles, and who's in charge of them? Because somebody has to be. They can't. They're even lit in weird dark corners. I don't know. I guess though, if they can afford a librarian as the main character of this movie, they can probably afford a candle guy that walks around and puts them out and puts new ones in. Got to have a budget for that shit though. There's a pretty wicked jackhammer suicide in this movie. I've never seen that before, I don't think. But I guess that dude doesn't really die. He's like still around. He like just impales himself with it. He's like possessed or something. This thing's wild. This whole movie. The effects are on point. I think the way they did the subway kill was very very cool. The music swells and then it's just like splat. I don't even know.
I love how bloodless that splatter was. It
Yeah.
looked like just like a sauceless pizza smacking against the glass. It was brilliant. Brilliantly
I love
like
that.
terrible. I love it.
The only thing that I think is a negative in this film is the goofy ass devil that's like sexing up the.
I have that wrote down as
cemetery.
a
That's
plus.
a positive. That is
Yeah,
a
look,
huge positive.
great goat man sex scene. I got it wrote down
Hell
right here.
yeah.
That's one of the goofiest looking Satans I've ever seen, dude.
Oh,
It
I
was
liked
like-
it.
That was
Cool.
a really complex looking piece. Like some
Yeah,
of that
it was.
that was
I'll
animatronic
give it credit there, but
on somebody, some dark
Yeah.
crystal.
Jim Henson. That was a Jim Henson devil.
Whenever
Yeah,
the climax of this at the climax of this movie, there's like this mass of bodies that rises up out of this pit. And I don't know how many actors are on there. It looks like just maybe one person is actually alive on there. But what a weird day at work for that guy, huh? Like, okay, you're gonna just be covered in mud and lay on this thing, and your ass is gonna be out, and you're gonna just wiggle around for
Just
a while.
flop around.
Really, I liked it. It was like undulating, weird, creepy, gross shit. I don't know.
It was designed to actually be, if you pause it, it's the devil.
Yeah.
The devil face.
I
That's
could
like-
tell
that's what it was.
some kind of shape, but I couldn't make it out.
And the dude moving in the middle was supposed to be it making faces, like its nose, like scrunching and shit, you know?
Okay.
Like, give it a little extra effect.
Well, either way, I liked it. I don't know why I love this movie so much. Really, I mean, I just like weird things that aren't. You can't put this in a category. I don't think. I don't know. What category would this fall in?
Well, sure you can. I'm going to start out that way.
All right. Well, I gave this a 9 out of 10. I think it's a cool ass movie.
Wow.
I've watched it a few times and it's great every time I watch it. So
Oh, all right. Well, so I have it. I come out. I'm saying Italian supernatural horror. I mean, it is what it is.
Right on.
This is my first viewing with it. I like the story, love the setting, love the Gothic church again. I love churches. That the atmosphere is there for sure. Some really good shots and scenes in this. I really like the whether the devil or the gargoyle thing that grabs her and like hides behind that column. I like the big pile of bodies. Like this movie, that scene kind of reminds me a lot of like Society, like when everyone's just kind of just a big clump.
God, what a movie!
Just shunting it, just shunting all over the place.
Again, I have great goat man sex scene. I loved it. I like the way he looks. The music is good. I think, per usual with every Italian horror movie, they seem to really. That's a whole nother character in itself. Is the music? It seems with Italian movies. Solid. I liked it. I look forward to seeing it again. I think this is one that'll probably be better every time you watch it. Off my first viewing, I gave it a 7.
Cool. That's awesome. I'm glad.
This has been on the list for a while because the cover got.
That's what he said. Yeah, he's like, oh man, good.
Yeah,
I'm glad someone finally did it.
Yeah.
My love for this movie, it's not my favorite film of all time. That's The Beyond by Lucio Fulci. but this is a film that's grown on me. I first even knew about it because of Beyond Horror Holocaust by Chaz Bowen. If you get it, it's out. It might be out of print now to get, but if you can find it, read it. Even his first one was called Horror Holocaust, but that was from like the 80s. But it had all these pictures from this movie in it. One was the dead pit from right after that crazy ass village slaughter at the beginning, when they were throwing them all in the pit. There's just like this it's like a big book, you know, and it's a 2-page spread of that. No words, just that. And I was like, holy shit, that's crazy. I love that. And then the next page was Goat Man mid-thrust. And I was like, I closed that book, drove my ass down to Hollywood Video and grabbed that mother. And I burned it. And I was like, I love it. I need it. And then it's only grown with the Blu-ray that came out from Scorpion. It looked, oh my God. If you guys don't have that copy, I suggest it. It's great.
Yeah, I got to get it. I don't have it at all.
Oh, yeah. It's so crazy. I love the cast. Tomas Arana, he played Evan. That dude's intense. Like, his face is friggin' statuesque and intense. Like, even when he's being pleasant, it's like, that dude don't trust that dude. The Father Gus, the hero, was Hugh Corshi. He was in Nightbreed. And the Highlander. He was in Highlander. He was McLeod's friend. Barbara Capisti, she was in Stage Fright that Mikhail Sawavi also directed.
Great movie. Great movie.
An opera. Yeah, I own it, but I've only seen it once. I need to watch it again.
Love Stage Fright.
Yeah, young Asia Argento. We all know who she is. And then Italian splatter mainstay Giovanni Lombardo Radice. City of the Living Dead, House on the Edge of the Park. Great soundtrack. Keith Emerson was the lead on that soundtrack. Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Oh, yeah.
The lead on that soundtrack. He also did the soundtrack to Inferno, Argento's Inferno, the second in the Three Mothers trilogy. Great. That's a great soundtrack too. I really, really love that devil statue though, Jason. I'm right. That's always been a point for me. I love that. Like, yeah, the chick's naked butt is pretty nice too, but like, it's Thomas Arana in that makeup, and she's standing. Remember her in this. This is something real subtle, but I love it so much. Her and her boyfriend or whatever they were having that argument. They talk about that Frank. She called him from the gas station, and she's standing on a helmet in that demon's arms, and it says Frank on the helmet. It's written in like magic marker. It's just something stupid that I noticed. I was like, all right, that's kind of cool, you know, because it was the dude seeing it.
Yeah.
And then I really, really love the old lady using her husband's head as a bell ringer.
Oh, yeah.
Did you expect that? Like,
yeah.
I was like, holy shit, that was amazing. And it was just like really off-putting because she was like singing and just so happy about it. It was a creepy ass scene. But there's nothing I hate about this movie. The set, the church, that the whole Goonies contraption they have in the background of the church ceiling itself, with the sand and the water and all that stuff and the blood.
Oh, yeah.
That giant painting was crazy. I can go on. Like, I know we have unlimited time, but let's not make it unlimited. So, but this one's a 9. I love this movie.
Yeah.
I want to add too that I give them credit too for doing the intro, the crusade part or whatever.
Oh,
I think most people to save money would just kind of be able to tell it verbally. They did this back in the day. They actually tried to show the time.
Most times they would just like show like an old book and like have a narrator over top of it.
Have someone telling a story. So they weren't lazy. They weren't lazy with this movie. I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that village scene was really. It got a little.
Could have used more
point,
blood.
but it was good. A little, yeah. It could have.
They were
but
like
it was
kicking
so
heads
hectic.
around on the ground and stuff, and there's like no
He
blood.
trampled a baby at one point.
Yeah.
It got hokey, but it was a brutal scene.
I liked it.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was fun. But that's the episode for this time. Next month, we will be doing the first 3 Reanimator movies and Train to Busan, I suppose. That's the poll winner. I was really hoping something would have overtook it, but I guess. I don't know why. I hear that movie's great.
That's really crazy. That's like you do 3 Reanimator movies and then that one.
And
Like
yeah.
complete contrast to each other.
I saw Train to Busan for the first time. I don't know, a couple months ago, I think, or maybe a month ago. Yeah, it was, watch it and check it out if you haven't yet, because that movie's how many years old? Like a few.
Yeah. I've been pushing it off.
Right, it's everywhere. It's on like
I've
every
seen it.
thing.
Yeah, I'm kind of bummed out because I was gonna pick Greasy Strangler. I haven't seen it yet. I know Jason's probably watched it. You guys have both probably watched it, right?
Greasy Strangler?
I've seen it.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I've never.
Dude.
Have you seen the trailer for it yet?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I've ever heard of it.
I'm gonna
Is
pull
it
it up.
old or new?
It's fairly new. I'm gonna pull up the trailer just so you can see it.
Greasy Strangler.
Listen, you guys, I've seen it and I loved it because it was just so fucked up.
I just watched the trailer last night,
Up.
and I'll tell you what. We were looking for something to watch, me and my wife, and I was just going through Amazon and I saw it on there, and I was like, okay, well, trailer. And her only response was, yeah, that's a firm no for me. So, did you watch it with your lady, John?
Hell no. But here's the thing. I called it. It was like a John Waters nightmare. That's how I viewed it. And she likes that kind of stuff.
Oh, so she might like it then.
Fucked up. She likes demented stuff.
Okay. Well, let's give this a roll.
I'm sorry. My dad can get cranky sometimes.
As your father, I forbid you to marry.
He sure has a temper on him.
He likes to shout. I like to smile.
You cheesy old cornball.
Imagine me stroking her clitoris with a pink feather. Yeah, that's what I am. I'm a cheesy old cornball.
I kind of like it.
Hey! Stop talking to the customer and help Dad with his shorts.
Imagine if I farted now.
I love you. Like this? I don't know if I'm doing it right, Janet. Is this right?
Here's my juicy
Uncensored even.
Oh, yeah.
The Greasy Strangler.
I'm officially dating Janet. I'm the Spider-Man of Cocktown. Bullshit artist. Bullshit artist.
I'm gonna have to censor all that shit.
Bullshit artist.
You're covered in horse shit.
You could be my forever love.
You claimed her pussy, but you never claimed her heart.
How was you going to pick this for a horror review?
I believe it's a horror. It's a horror movie.
It is classified as a horror movie, like the Greasy Strangler stuff.
It's on Shudder.
I'm not seeing it. I'm just not seeing it.
There you go.
Okay.
There you are.
All right. Okay.
There you are.
I get it.
You're making out Thank you.
I get it. There we go.
The Greasy Strangler. You're
Yeah.
all right, Braden.
Thanks, Dad. That means a lot coming from you.
Yeah, that looks good. That looks good.
It is. It's bizarre, but it's funny. Like I say, it's like John Waters' nightmare.
Yeah, we'll get to that someday. But anyways, thanks for watching and listening, guys. We'll see you later in the month for another club, right? You're going to do that?
Yeah, we'll do club in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I had a plan for the bracket. Instead of doing horror icons, we're just going to pick a year and put the movies against each other. So
All right.
we'll see who comes out on top. Just pick your favorite ones, and if you haven't seen it, I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you. I guess you just vote for the one you've
Use your
seen.
imagination.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But anyways, see you later.
All right. See you guys.
All right.
See you,
Later,
John.
guys. See ya.